All right, guys, we are back with another installment of our weekly chat with the Buy Sell Love SoCal team. And I wanted to start it off by telling you an interesting situation that happened to me over the weekend. So some people may be following our social media, and they might see that I opened 2 new escrows in this beautiful community in Temecula. And, you know, the old saying goes, real estate is a people business, right? So I've been working on this community for quite some time, and my buyers have wanted to get in there for
So it's brand new.
Brand new.
This was literally first phase release.
Oh,
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so to get into these communities, you have to get pre-qualified first with
Sure.
their preferred lender. Then you get on a list.
You go on an interest list.
Yep. And then they call you and they say, come down and get a ticket. And then once
They
you
were
get your
delayed.
ticket,
It was supposed to be last fall, so like
been
been
this whole
following
deal.
it for a
And then
long
is it
time.
usually sometimes like a lottery, even at that point?
So that's what we had to do. So we had to go down to get a ticket.
Got
You
it.
had to get in line at 8 a.m. And then you had to wait until they let you in at 10 a.m. And then first come, first serve, they give you a ticket. And then your ticket gets you an appointment. And your appointment gets you a house.
That they had not released pricing on yet.
That we didn't even have pricing on.
Is that
so
wild?
we went there on Saturday morning
No
at
way.
10 a.m. because that was or 11 a.m. That was our appointment time. We didn't even know pricing. But the secret was this wouldn't have happened without my relationship with the builder's sales representative, because she was able to tell us exactly when the emails would go out, exactly when the appointments
So you
were
could
going to be.
respond.
So I could make sure, because if the buyer was going to be out of town or gone
Which-
over these sales appointments,
Which the one was when the
Potent-
lottery
one
happened.
actually was. One was in Mexico. And so since it was a mother and daughter buying the house, the sales representative and I had built such a good relationship that she said, it's okay, I'll let it slide for you. You can go ahead and let one buyer be out of town. And then, so we go there, we get the houses, everything's great, and we're walking the lots, and one of the daughters talking to her sister, and her sister wants in on the action.
FOMO.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I've been working on this for months.
How are you just
am
gonna-
I going to put this together?
Yeah.
So I reach out to the sales representative, and she's like, no problem. I trust what you bring to the table. We've built a great relationship. Let me know if the sister wants in, and I will get her in, and we can bypass the list. I'm not going to say that, but I just said it. And she ended up not buying, but we had the opportunity. It was fantastic, and it just proves that this is a relationship business.
It really is. Like sometimes we get labeled like car salesman and salesy, but this really is a relationship business with our vendors, with our clients, with other agents and builders.
Huge.
It's really, really a relationship business. One of the things, like with multiple offers that not multiple offers, well, when I am submitting an offer for a buyer that I know it's going to be 1 million offers and they're going to get 30 offers, they're going to be inundated, they don't know who any of these agents are. I've been trying to send them like a little text or an email like, hi,
Video.
I'm going to take 20 seconds of your time. My name is Danielle Irvin. I'm submitting an offer on behalf of my clients in this digital world. I just want to look eye to eye, if you will, introduce myself so you know who you'll be working with, and know that I am a full-time agent. My buyers are serious and I'm serious. I hope we work together.
Makes a
On
difference.
the flip side, have you ever noticed that like some agents are just like hermits and they don't want to?
They don't even tell you they submitted an offer.
Yeah.
Or call you before submitting it, or yeah, you
Nothing.
just get and you're like, who is
And
this?
sometimes that's your best offer, and you're looking at it and you're like,
And then you can't get a hold of them.
like, I want to know the person. I want to
Yeah.
know the people behind this.
It makes not just it makes such a difference in escrow. Like
Oh.
it really
Oh
does.
my gosh.
Like no, yeah.
The
So
relationship that you build, the rapport that you build, you know how they work, you know how they answer their phone. You're
Yeah.
so right. It makes the biggest difference.
yeah.
So didn't a large real estate company recently lose their shirts, take a total bath because
What
they're
real estate
not
company
Zillow?
could you be talking about?
because they're not actually people?
So yeah, good point. Good segue. So no, Zillow, we knew that they had shut down like their iBuying last year because they had lost a bunch of money, and it turned out that amount of money was $881 million.
$881 million.
Guys, they lost $881 million on their home buying scheme in the year where real estate values went like
So
this.
in 1 year,
Yeah.
they lost 881.
And not just any year, a year where real estate
How
was going
dumb
like
can
this.
you be
So-
to lose money last year in
Well,
real
here's
estate?
the thing.
Sorry.
So this is be nice. I think that there is a place for iBuying and whatever, but I think that this just illustrates why it is not going to be the thing that takes over real estate, right? So the article I was reading about it was actually, it made such a good analogy to, You've never played fantasy football, I'm certain of this. You maybe. I won't even ask. But when you go to play fantasy football, the draft is
big,
important. I'm sure you
huge.
can
It's everything.
at least
I've heard of the
appreciate
draft.
why.
It's your team.
So if you miss draft day, then if you're like doing it on Yahoo Sports will auto draft for you. And when you read what that sounds not that bad. It's like, oh yeah, they pick a list of the best players and they just pick from that
Based
list
off
and then it's
stats
your
and
turn.
algorithms and blah, blah, blah.
Exactly. But the problem is, they're not making that list in real time. They're probably compiling it a couple times a week or something, and things change, or they don't know exactly what's going on in the moment. Whereas if you were live picking your players, you'd know, oh, so and so just got injured or whatever. The things that went on. And it was such a good analogy to the iBuying, I thought, because we've seen how sometimes those estimates can be right and sometimes they can be so vastly wrong. And I think that losing $881 million because they were relying on their algorithm is
They thought
a
their
great
algorithm was so
illustration
good.
of why it isn't.
I don't know about you guys. Speaking of Zestimates, I've been working with buyers long enough at this point because we're writing 70 offers, where they are now coming to me where, it used to be the Zestimate. We had a fight against it. Now they're coming to me going, did you see that? Like, as soon as they adjust the price, the Zestimate immediately changed.
That's a thing.
That happened when I had that listing in Raish Canyon last year. That was such a hard listing appointment because I knew the house wasn't worth nearly what the Zestimate was saying. It said it was worth over $1 million.
But the sellers see that.
They see that, right?
Yeah,
and
they're
so
like,
I'm coming in saying, $800,000, right? So we kind of met in the middle, listed it at 900, and funny thing, as soon as we listed it at 900, all of a sudden the Zestimate snapped down to that.
Immediately.
And see, that's not what comps are based
That's
on.
not
We
what
don't
it's
base
supposed to
comps
be.
on active or pending. We base it on sold.
Sold.
And like so much for their whole algorithm.
Right.
Like, they're supposed to have all this details and all this fancy
exactly
programming.
Snapped right down, and then we sat on the market because we were still too high at 900. So what do you know? When we did finally get that price reduction down to what I originally recommended at 800, we got an offer right away.
Wow. Because a person was involved.
Because a person was able to actually go through the house, see what was different from the comps that may have been, some of the houses in that canyon were a lot more updated. This place didn't have updated kitchen, bathrooms, but Zillow
And it's
hadn't
all
been
about
in
how
there.
the home sits on the lot, how much of the lot is usable.
And that's the thing. People call me and they say, can you just give me like a virtual number? I see the Zillow estimate and I'm like, I know. I need to look. I know what your house is priced at. I'm just going to tell you it's $699, but I need to drive there, step foot, and walk into your house. I need to smell it and see it and feel it. Like it. Yeah, I have to see if you have bad feng shui or if there's bad juju or whatever. You have to see it as a person.
I don't know if I'd ever tell a seller that their house had bad juju.
You guys are probably I've been at neighbors' houses in my neighborhood, walkable, where it just feels so different from my own. And
Every house has a feel.
Yeah, exactly. So
the biggest one when this was years ago, in Coda de Casa, supposed to be like this really high-end area,
OC Housewives.
Yes, how they became popular, Coda de Casa. And I had a buyer and we were looking at properties in there. And we walk into this property. The energy of this house was just off. You could feel it.
Zestimate can
tell you that. No, and this property ended up sitting on the market forever. And I didn't want to even tell my client that I felt it was off. I didn't want her to be like, oh, she's a weirdo. But we walked out and she was even like, yeah, that house just didn't feel. And I was like, and it sat forever. Now, a Zestimate and no algorithm or anything can tell you.
It's going to be like, oh, Kodo, so this house is worth,
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of houses being worth, you guys, I just showed a property over the weekend. There's that old quote that says you shouldn't wait to buy real estate. You should buy real estate and wait, right? There's this whole lot of people talking about, I'm going to wait till the market crashes, blah, blah, blah. So I just had this like in your face, that quote hit me because I showed a property to a buyer in Corona, gated community, cute condo community. This was going to be an investment. And it's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, great schools, everything. And I remember years ago, a 1-bedroom in there was selling $68,000 to $75,000.
Could you imagine?
A 2-bedroom was selling $99,000 if it needed
when
work.
Was that?
Gosh,
9 or 10? 09.
11, 10, 11. So it was still the time where people weren't sure about buying because the market was still on that. Where are we at? What are we doing? Is this going to go lower? You know, some areas lost 50 to 60% equity. Now that property was at 375, and my clients thought it was like the biggest bargain ever.
Sounds low, but percentage-wise, I mean, like it's four times.
But can you imagine if I would have bought it at
That's crazy.
$100,000?
Could you?
Crazy.
Yeah.
Like that's a triple. And then you have a tenant paying your mortgage.
Well, that makes me think of another article that I saw this week. AP article, rents reach insane levels across the U.S. with no end in sight. So we think that the housing, like buying market is being crazy.
No.
The rental market is just as insane. So this stat was crazy. In the 50 largest U.S. metro areas, median rent rose an astounding 19.3%. Guys, this was from December 2020 to December 2021.
That's
1 year.
on par with pricing increases.
So rent increases went up by 19%. Like,
and we're limited in most areas of California to
Yeah.
5%.
plus inflation, plus
Caveat,
cap rate,
asterisk,
yeah.
yes.
Up to 10 if. We're
But
yeah.
crazy. That's like the house right down the street for me. So 9 months ago, the house next to me, single story, 2,000 square foot, rented for $3,000. Okay. Then we sold the house 2 doors down, same thing, single story, 2,000 square foot, model match. Originally, the landlord said, well, let's just add, $50 and maybe list it at $3,050 or $3,100. So he listed it at $3,100. We thought, well, that's pretty aggressive. Maybe we'll get a good handful of renters, but like nothing like the circus that ensued. He had, 60 or 70 people inquire and 25 showings over the weekend. And he was just like, I think I'm going to raise the price by another $150.
And
So
nobody batted an eye.
he went up to $3,250, and it was like nothing happened.
And you guys think $150
That's
a month?
huge for a lot of people that are renting.
Right?
That's huge.
Right?
That's huge because when your mortgage amount goes up by that, your eyeballs pop out.
Yep.
$150. That's a lot.
And you guys, that's like a mortgage payment.
Yes.
I
I know.
You guys,
I know.
So-
like how much sense does it make to rent that when literally that could be your mortgage
And
payment?
when you make your rent payments again, if it goes up 19% over a year, and that's just money out the window, whereas that's money toward equity.
Right.
Right. It's just such a stark difference if you can get into home ownership. I mean, you've seen the stock market go like this, but you've seen the
Yes.
property
housing
values.
market go up.
And to get into home ownership, you need a person, not an algorithm. I think that's the theme of today.
Yeah, right.
A real person, not an algorithm.
Yeah.
That can walk you through it and really give you an accurate assessment.
The insight.
Relationships business, y'all.
Well, that's our marker for this week. Thank you for joining us. We have a busy week ahead, closing lots of escrows in state and out of state.
Dude.
Whoop, whoop.
Finally going to close an escrow in Texas that's been a long time coming. Oh my goodness.
Is it going to close this week?
The builder
Maybe?
one? The one you addressed?
The actual VP of the company came out to walk with the homeowner, and she basically said, if you don't close my house next week, I will put a sandwich board on and stand in front of your models and list the reasons why you guys are on my low list. So
right, well, I
we think
hope
it's
she
going to
does it.
happen.
Okay.
I hope so.
Okay, good news.
We'll see.
Okay, good
update to
news.
follow.
Okay,
Very
well,
good.
thank
We'll
you
see
for
you next
watching,
week.
hanging
Thank you
out
for
with us.
watching.
Bye.